Good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, the 26th of July. So it's Tuesday of week 2. It's a 10-week term this term, and it's a fairly busy time of year. We say that every year. Really important this week to read down through the newsletter. It's a fair chunk of information there to work through and lots of things that help to set the scene for the terms ahead. I guess I've got two big ticket items for us to have a bit of a think about. The first one being NAPLAN. So results have come out for NAPLAN, and students in years 3, 5, 7 and 9 will receive reports in the next couple of days. Ours should be going home tomorrow for students in years 3 and 5. Now, there's a bit of a difference this year. Traditionally, we would have a range of growth targets and some information about how a student in year 5, for instance, has gone between year 3 and year 5. This year, we're seeing a much different approach. So there's a degree of disruption from COVID, which has meant as a school, we don't really have any growth figures at all. And it means that parents won't receive advice on how students have grown between those school years. Instead, they'll receive a report which looks very much like the one on my screen here. So this is a demonstration report. And you can see that now we've got progress noted against proficiency, and that is on a sliding scale. And you'll end up with that for each of the areas covered, being numeracy, reading, writing, and conventions of language. Down the bottom shows where a student may require additional support, and it goes right up to exceeding. Within that, you can see the black dot will represent the student's performance. This marker here, the little arrow, will show the national average, and that is different. In the past, we've always been talking about state averages. So we're looking at national averages. The school performance for Thornlie West Public will be noted in the white arrow. The big band here will show where 60% of year 3 or year 5 students would fall across the nation. So it's much, much different to what we've done before. And one thing that will make it a lot different for all of us will be that no longer when looking at the data will we know how New South Wales has done. So we're not really sure what that exactly means for us as a school. We are thinking that as the future unfolds, we will start to see an ability to measure growth and to make some of those judgments. But it's a little bit too early in the new process for us to reflect just based on these parent reports. Obviously, we will be having a look as a school at the whole school data package to inform our planning. But for us, the same as you, it is a whole new world in terms of how we've got the information. The other really important thing for us to have a think about is our school athletics carnivals. So you'll see in the newsletter down below, I've got a paragraph about athletics carnivals. So last year, off we went to Sydney Olympic Park. Fantastic event. Loved it. Kids were running around the Olympic quality track. That was just fantastic. And that was our intention to move into that sort of event for this year. However, the FIFA World Cup has meant that school bookings have been bumped and bumped and bumped, and the availability just isn't there at the Olympic Park. So we decided we would head out to Blacktown instead. And as always, a couple of teachers headed out there in the school holidays to try to start making school plans for it. And when we arrived, discovered that there's earthworks happening in the centre, which meant that there is only really a track. There is the opportunity for all of our kids to have a go. So due to the constraints of there only really being those two high quality tracks in Sydney, we're having to have an event on site here. We're still currently negotiating with Hornsby Council. So we've been working with them over the last week or so around the use of Oakley. We're pretty confident that we can bring that together. So what the event will look like is we'll come to school normal time. We'll mark the roll, 9:15. We'll move into our events. We'll have the running races on Oakley Field. Here on site, we'll have the tabloid events. We'll have shot put out front of C Block on the grass there. So it's nice and safe. We've dug a sandpit over the last couple of days. The kids might have told you about that. So we've got long jump can happen on site as well. It means that we can have a regular lunch and recess time for our students. It means that nobody needs to be here early. And of course, for parents, we've got pretty good parking here, and we are within walking distance of most of your houses. So it's got a range of positives that we are going to be really celebrating. For the kids, our priority is to make sure we've got a really high quality event that's inclusive, is a good bit of fun, and that we can also set our zone times. And to simply change our dates outside the World Cup won't fit in with our athletics responsibilities in terms of PWSA. So any of the payments that parents have made, and most parents would have made a payment towards bus travel, they'll be credited to your child's account, and that will offset future payments. So whilst it's not exactly the way that we planned it, and it's created a fair bit of frantic action here at school to try to bring that together. And I must admit, it's not 100% together now because we are still in negotiations around Oakley Park. I'm fairly confident, probably 90% confident, we can in fact get that together for Monday. At this stage, we are hoping that it's not going to rain because obviously that will create another spanner in the works, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. As always, we'd love you to come along. We don't have stands for you to sit on, but there's plenty of space in our field, plenty of space at Oakley as well, and the kids will think it's absolutely awesome. The other things, have a bit of a look down below. There's some information there about a STEM Expo, which is next Wednesday evening. That is there. Some information about NAIDOC events, which happened here at school last week. The students would have told you about that. We've got some photos that are attached to that, and a fairly long range of information about upcoming events that include planning, including the WACA dress rehearsal for those WACA students is this Sunday as well. So I hope the term has been fantastic for everybody. Don't forget to miss the save the date item down below when the tickets for our school dance concert will be released. That's in about 3 weeks' time. So that'll be captured in our next school newsletter. But do keep an eye on what's happening on the calendar, just so you know where we're up to with all of that. But other than that, from everybody here at Thornlie West Public School, welcome back to the new term. We hope you have a fantastic week, and we look forward to seeing you at our carnival here at school on Monday.